that time of year again. 6 weeks of summer. Sounds like bliss, but as a mum, you think summer holiday time. Some people might panic, some people might get excited, some people might be a mixture of the two, but it feels like it's 6 weeks of planning, refereeing, mediating arguments, cooking, feeding non-stop, asking yourself, is it time for bed just yet? Today I am talking about planning and trying to create a stress-free summer that you can enjoy as a mum, your kids will love, and I'm not guaranteeing there will be no arguments, there will be no fights, but if you can try and put something together, a loose plan, a bit of a schedule, it is going to make life so much easier and, dare I say it, an enjoyable summer fun time for all. Welcome to the Happy Thriving Mums podcast, the show that talks about the simple actions busy mums like you can take to prioritise your own health, happiness and fitness. And it doesn't stop there. This show also includes amazing stories from remarkable women who help others to be the best version of themselves. Because if you feel great, you thrive, and so does your family. So, if you're ready to overcome mum guilt, manage overwhelm, feel and look your best and create a happier, more balanced life for yourself and your family, this podcast is for you. Hello, welcome to this week's episode. Today I am talking about trying to create a stress-free summer holiday. So the kids are breaking up or maybe have already broken up and it is time for the summer holiday 6-week extravaganza. Let's go with this. Let's be positive. It's going to be great. I know it can be really daunting at the beginning of 6 weeks when you think, I've got 6 weeks of children off school. I've got to give them things to do. They can't just sit and watch TV or be on iPads or phones all day. You maybe want to have like a screen time holiday, but that for most families is just not a viable option. Screens can be a brilliant tool for just giving you as a mum a little bit of downtime so that you can get things done that you need to do. Some people have to work throughout this time as well and so have to rely on holiday camps, holiday clubs, family members, friends to help with the childcare and just managing the childcare. The number of days that you need to look after your children in the summer holidays, 6 weeks or longer for some people who have children in private schools which tend to have the longer summer holiday, it can be really daunting, and just thinking about how to manage all of this logistically can really kind of make you inwardly kind of curl the toenails, feel just like overwhelmed by it all. And it has been shown that 78% of parents feel overwhelmed during the school holidays. And there are so many reasons why, aren't there? So not just the time restraints and the logistics of who will be looking after the children during that time, but there's also lots of other challenges with the loss of routine. Like on the school day, you have to get up, have to get out at certain times. Everyone's dressed, teeth brushed, bags packed, off you go. And then that's the start of the day. The holidays can be a little bit more relaxed, can't they? And sometimes that can be great, other times that can be not helpful. I know in previous holidays and also at weekends, I've had times when my children don't get dressed until like lunchtime, and then the day kind of goes away with you, and then they get a bit kind of, how should I put it? They get a bit bored, or they just kind of don't want to do anything. So it's about creating a routine that works. Other challenges can include the financial pressures. Children may hear that their friends are going abroad on holiday or going on day trips to theme parks, to aquariums, to all of these places. And for some families, doing day trips like that just isn't viable. And it's not through want or anything like that, but in these current times when cost of living is really, really tough, added financial pressure of feeling like you should be taking your family to all these places and doing all these things can be a real burden on a lot of us. And there's different ways that we can mitigate this and try and come up with a plan which works for everybody, which feels fun, which feels easy, which feels manageable. So another pressure that we might feel as a mum is that lack of personal time. So when the children are in school, you might be at work, so you might not get a lot of personal time anyway. If you're not at work and you're at home doing stuff, you might get a few minutes here and there to just kind of be you and prioritize your own needs, whether it's going to the gym, working out, going and seeing some friends, or you might have other needs that you need to do, like maybe you care for a relative. It's then managing all these pressures as well within the time of trying to entertain the kids throughout the holidays, which can become really overwhelming. So today the plan is to try and put a lot of these challenges aside and come up with manageable strategies which you can implement into your daily life, into your daily holiday time, weekly holiday time, that allows you to have a fun few weeks with the kids at home, which doesn't seem overwhelming, which doesn't cost an absolute fortune, and which actually can be quite fun, flexible, relaxed, and means that you have a great time, the kids have a great time, and everybody together tries to have an enjoyable, relaxed 6 weeks off rather than a chaotic, troublesome ones. Okay, so here we go. First thing that I'm going to suggest that you do is I have put together a free, stress-free summer planner, which I would love you to sign up for and download. Within this planner, there's a whole range of different things, from helping you to plan your meals for the whole 6-week holiday, helping for you to put together a routine, even some mindset things where you can think about what you want to achieve during these summer holidays, putting some boundaries in place for yourself, for the kids, for other people, so that if someone's like, oh, should we meet up, and actually you don't want to, how you can express this to them in a way which feels good for you and works for them as well. There's also ideas on a routine that you could use on a daily basis, as well as you putting together a boredom buster box or a boredom buster strategy, where it's just kind of like, it could be a poster, it could be a box of stuff, but it's ideas so that when the kids inevitably come up to you and say, I'm bored, you can straight away go and look at the planner on the wall, choose something to do, or go to the boredom box, get something out. So hopefully, I say hopefully because it's not going to work every time, but it encourages your kids to become independent or more independent at finding ways to amuse themselves, rather than constantly needing you to be directing them to different activities. So if you'd like that planner, if you'd like these extra ideas, sign up. The link is in the show notes. I think it's a brilliant resource and hopefully it'll be really valuable to you this summer. So first thing that I'm going to suggest that you do to keep the summer holidays fun and stress-free is to bust the myth that summer holidays should be perfect. That is rubbish. Tony Robbins says that perfection is the lowest of standards. Perfection is the lowest of standards. Perfection does not exist. If you're always striving to be perfect, you're always going to let yourself down. So no one will have a perfect summer. No day will be the perfect day. But you can make your summer really fun, really enjoyable, really interesting and entertaining for everybody. Likewise, you can do that on a daily basis too. So maybe reframe this idea of creating a perfect summer holiday to creating a summer holiday which is enjoyable or which has moments of magic within it. We can't have this all singing, all dancing perfection because it just doesn't exist. And what you think might be perfect for the kids might be something completely different. So it doesn't always work like that. So really refocus and think about, instead of perfection, you are looking for it to be enjoyable, flexible, stress-free, and as easy as possible. That might be something that you're looking forward to, and that would create a summer that you find enjoyable and worthwhile and memorable for all the right reasons, rather than striving for something which doesn't exist. So let's reframe it. What's your summer going to be like to you? So think about what would be a brilliant outcome for your summer holidays. So for me, I would like to achieve a summer with my children this holiday which involves a few day trips here and there. I don't want to go every single day out and about because that's too tiring. That's too much for me. I know I find that quite stressful. I want there to be a few play dates, maybe with families and friends, which I really like to spend time with as well. So you can almost kill two birds with one stone. Let the kids have fun with friends, but also you get to have a cup of tea and a chat with a great friend as well, which can be, it's that whole problem shared, problem halved. You're working together. It can be more fun. I want to have some home experiences where we just have complete chill out days. We watch a movie, we play in the garden, we get out the paddling pool. There are so many different things that I see as a really enjoyable summer. And the most important thing is when you can, and if you can, spending time with your children, making lovely memories, and having that kind of presence and time together that you don't get in school time, making the most of what you do and what you have, because that is what you're going to remember in the future. You're not going to look back and think about the 10 times you went to Thorpe Park in the summer holidays. You're going to think about a memory. You're going to think about the feeling and how it was during that time when you were together. And if you can only be together for 1 week of the summer holiday because you have to work or because you have to be somewhere else for whatever the reason, just make that time that you do have with your children count. And don't feel guilty. I know it is easier said than done, but try not to feel guilty about the time you can't spend with them, because you are setting a good example of being a good role model for whatever reason that you can't be there. So remember, if you are a working mum, mum guilt is rife. We feel terrible for maybe not spending as much time with the children as we feel we should or we want to or we can. But sometimes you have to be practical. If you have to work, you have to work. That's totally fine. You are earning a living to give your children, to give yourself an enjoyable life, to put food on the table. That is showing role modelling in a positive way and showing that yes, we have to do this, and unfortunately it might not meet our full expectations, but always try and reframe what you are doing, even if it isn't in your ideal mind what it is you want to be doing. There's reasons behind it and it's completely valid. So try not to beat yourself up. Try to release that mum guilt. I know you can. So reframing our summer is the first way to try and make it easier and stress-free. So a good way of doing this is to try and encourage a decent, or not decent, not a great word, or encourage a certain emotional tone at home. So talk to them about what you're going to do. Talk with your children, what would they like to do? And then together, start to think about a plan of maybe picking a few things that you know they definitely would love to do in the summer holidays, which you can then either book in or schedule around a few other bits and pieces that you can do as well. And financially, this can work really, really well. So the next thing that I'm going to talk about is planning. Planning for some people is a horrible thing to do. People don't like planning. But actually, by planning your holiday out, it can make the summer a lot less stressful and a lot less worrying or overwhelming, because you are not being reactive on a day-by-day basis of thinking, what should I do? What can I do? Oh no, there's nowhere we can go. Everywhere's booked out if you wanted to go out for the day, for example. By putting a plan together, you can book things in advance, which reduces an urgency or a kind of panicked response to what should we do today. If you can put together ideas of what you can do at home, that can be really helpful. So the next thing I'm going to talk about is having a plan. And there are two kind of elements to the plan that you can do. So you can look at your day and you can look at putting together for the kids a loose routine for the day. So this could include maybe in the morning you get up, you have breakfast, and then every day you do something you know that they really enjoy. So if you've got crafty kids, you could just have on hand a crafty or an arts-based activity that they could do. If you've got sporty kids or kids that need to run around, maybe each morning you could take them out to the park or a walk or something like that. Put together a loose routine so that they know what time breakfast is, what time lunch likely is, what time dinner likely is, and then go from there. So they've got a loose routine of the day. Pinterest is amazing for these kind of things. If you go on Pinterest and you look up something, I put into the search boredom busters, you can find all kinds of ways to plan your summer holidays, from different activities to someone's already made a summer schedule. They've got categories for different ways of the week. So Mondays, they've called it Make It Monday. Tuesdays is Try It Tuesdays. Water Wednesdays, where they go and do some kind of water-based activity. You get the picture. There's other posts on there which give you things like 135 summer activities, where it gives you just like a list of creative activities you can do, outdoor activities you can do, cooking activities, educational activities. There's a whole kind of huge amounts of different lists that you can look at on Pinterest to give you ideas for daily routines, summer activities, weekly activities. It's an incredible resource if you ever get stuck that you can just look at. So that's a great idea. So go and look on Pinterest for more ideas to create around your loose routine. So my next thing is about blocking time for yourself into the 6 weeks as a schedule. So is there anywhere or any way that you can just think, right, I'm going to need, maybe you need 20 minutes every day. Maybe you need to have an hour or 2 hours to yourself once a week. Is there any way that you can make this happen? Can you ask a friend or a family member to help you block this time in and book them in to babysit the kids? Can you ask your partner to help out at the weekends that you maybe have like an hour to yourself? Is there a way that you can ultimately, as a non-negotiable, block some time in for yourself? Because giving yourself time, as I always say, prioritizing yourself is essential. It is not selfish. If you are overwhelmed and bursting at the seams from giving to everybody else, you are not going to be at your best. You're not going to be able to lean into fun, and therefore you're not going to be able to enjoy the summer. So actually, blocking some time in for yourself in your weekly schedule is a really, really important thing to do. Always look after yourself. It is so important, because if you are not looking after yourself, how on earth are you meant to look after anybody else? Another thing to help you with scheduling is to try to limit decisions that you have to make on a daily basis. So a great idea here is to think about meal planning. So you could just do one meal plan which you would have every week for the next 6 weeks. That might sound awful to some of you who like variety in your food, but it takes away that daily, what should we have for dinner, or that weekly, or what should I put in the food shop? If you pick 7 meals, or if you want to do it fortnightly, that might be more manageable, more interesting. Pick 14 different meals that you might have, and then you plan out what you need for the shop, what you're going to have each day. That is done. That limits your mental fatigue of making decisions, because that is something that you've already decided once and you can just do it on repeat again and again and again. It is a great thing to do. It is a massive time saver, and it really, really can help just limit that analysis paralysis on a daily basis and give you more time to do other things. Another brilliant idea that I heard here along this kind of line in terms of meal planning is putting together a snack box. And maybe within the snack box you could put in some fruit, some crisps or rice cakes, a few biscuits, whatever it is that you feel appropriate to give as snacks for your children each day. Put it in a box, put it in the fridge or somewhere where the children can access it, and say to them, these are your snacks for the day. You can have them at any time, but once they're gone, they're gone. And it helps the kids to firstly become more independent, because they don't have to be going to you all the time, I'm hungry, can I have this, can I have that? But also it helps them to think, okay, this is it for the day in terms of snacks. Obviously you're going to feed them meals, and then if they're gone, they're gone, and they will learn that they need to eke it out across the day. First few days might be a bit tough, but they will learn. Maybe it's a bit hardcore, some people might say, but up to you. But it's a good one, again, that stops you feeling that you have to be at everyone's beck and call all the time. So that can be a really good planning, scheduling tool in a way to stop the incessant and never ending, Mum, I'm hungry, can I have a snack? So that's another thing that you can do. So can you see how front loading and planning all these things in the first instant can really help the daily decision making that you need to take? Also, it can prevent letting down expectations, because you may have already booked in a few different bits and pieces ahead of the summer, so that you know that you've got a mixture of activities planned. So that's a really, really good way to try and plan your time, limit decision making, and also you can put up a planner on the wall so the kids can see what's happening and they know what to expect on a regular basis. My kids love looking at the calendar to see what's happening and telling me what's going to happen, where we need to be. They like it. It can give them an element of control as well. So try and put together a plan that they can look at and they can enjoy. You can also do this planning together. So I've already sat down with my kids and I said to them, right, we are going to go on 3-day trips in the summer holidays. Where would you like to go? What would be your top 3? And they came up with the zoo, the aquarium, and a farm. So I know I'm going to try and find these 3 things. I'm going to book them in so that there's not going to be like, when are we going or anything like that. And they know when they are going. The other thing, which is a really good thing to do early on if you can, is if you are able to book them into a holiday camp. There's sometimes free ones locally. So I know that my local church do a free one, which is for a week, which is every morning. There's no cost involved. Sometimes there is a local football camp. Like I know there's a local football camp near where I am, which again is really cost effective and reasonably priced. Booking them into some of those kind of holiday camps, if you're able to, it can be quite cost effective. They can help with the childcare if you're working, or if you just need a morning to yourself. They don't have to go in every day. They could just do it once off. Try and coordinate with friends, and obviously they're going to have a great time because they're with their friends. They're in a different location. Variety is key here, and it gives them a completely different experience. So that's another thing that you can do. So that's scheduling. I've got 2 more things that I'm going to talk about. So another thing that you can put together at the beginning of the summer, and again, you can do this on your own or with the kids, and I really recommend using Pinterest again for this, is putting together a list of boredom busters. So I think as a parent, if you got a pound coin every time your child came up to you and said, I'm bored, you would definitely be a millionaire. I know I would. So if you've put together a list of boredom busters and they come to you and say, I'm bored, say, right, you've got to go and find something off the boredom buster list, which you can do, because I've given you a whole list of stuff. We can do all of these things, choose one, and we'll go with that. So all these ideas can be from playing with their toys, doing some Lego, reading a book, writing a book, drawing, playing in the garden. The list could go on, and Pinterest is amazing to give you inspiration for putting together these lists of things. And they are some of the ideas you never even thought of, so I really recommend doing that. And the other thing that you can do linked to this is take the idea of what would they like to do. Maybe you can make it into a theme. Maybe you can make it into a challenge. And maybe you could even link it to screen time that they could have, for example. So some of these boredom buster things or chores around the house can be put together into a kind of screen time contract. So there's a brilliant thing which I've seen where it says, have you ... made your bed, put away your dirty washing, put your food plate in the dishwasher, whatever. There's a list of like 5 or 6 different things. Have you been kind to someone? I think someone has on one of their lists. If the answer is yes, and you have done half an hour of reading or half an hour of playing or something like that, then you have earned your screen time for the day. I love this idea because I don't know about you, but I always feel quite worried about screen time and giving the children too much. I really think TV and screens are amazing. What they can do on iPads and things like that can be a real game changer. And there's lots of educational value to it, but there's also lots of just fun, wind down content out there. But I do always worry about the amount of screen time that they have. So giving them some kind of contract to earn it, I actually think is a really brilliant idea. I haven't tried that before, but I am going to try it this summer and see how it goes on, because it can then also help you manage what you have to do around the house a little bit better as well. So that was a mixture there, creating a boredom buster list or box, but also creating maybe some kind of screen time contract, which helps the children to help you a little bit more, but then they also get a reward at the end of it. Just a few ideas. So my final thing, which can be really helpful this summer, I hope you've seen these, and I'm not endorsing these are not ads or anything like that, it's just things I've seen which I think are really helpful. There is a list of restaurants, pubs or food chains which do free kids meals if you buy an adult meal. These are brilliant. So if you wanted to go out for some food with the kids, you can find this, and I'll put a link to one of them in the show notes. There's a list of different places ranging from supermarkets to pubs to restaurants, where if you have an adult meal, you can get 1, sometimes 2 meals to be free for the children. So this is great, as this can be an outing, a day trip, but also it's not massively expensive because you get the kids' food for free. So that's brilliant. I will put a link to that list in the show notes. And then one other thing which is really good value, I believe, and can give you some money off different day trips is something called the Kids Pass. So I don't know if you've been made aware of this. You can get it for free for 3 months at the moment. I think if you get some sweets, I can't remember which sweets they are. Again, this is just something that I found, and it just looks like you can get some good discounts on going to the cinema, going on day trips, those kind of things, which again can help the financial burden that the summer holidays can bring. So key takeaways. I know I've talked for a long time today and there's loads of stuff, but I just wanted to share all this with you because I think it can really help, even if you just take one thing to help you have a stress-free summer, or as stress-free as it can be when you're at home with the kids. So schedule your days. What is your loose routine? Schedule in day trips, play dates, all of those things, and show the kids so that they know what to expect, what is coming that week, what is coming that day, and that they have been part of the planning. Secondly, have your boredom busters ready. So your list of boredom busters, so that the kids, when they say I'm bored, can have a look and choose something for themselves. Thirdly, limit your daily decisions. Think Steve Jobs on this. I think he wore the same clothes every single day because it was something less for him to think about. Do the same with your meal planning, whether it's do 6 weeks of meal plans or do 1 week of meal plans and do the same thing every week for those 6 weeks. It helps reduce the mental fatigue of making loads of decisions in a day. And then finally, see what is available on offer. Are there special deals on going out on day trips? If you want to do that and try and add some added magic moments, see what you can get at a lesser financial cost to you. But overall, there are so many free things that you can do in the holidays. It doesn't have to be expensive. And really what your kids want is to have fun and have fun with you. Make memories, make the magic happen, because the magic is within you. You are amazing. You can do this. I know that you can. So let's make this summer the summer you don't just survive, but you actually enjoy. If you enjoyed this episode and found it useful, please share it with another mum who might need a little bit of inspiration and help in getting themselves going. And don't forget to sign up for my free stress-free summer planner, which might help you just relax and ease into the summer a bit more and really enjoy yourself. Thank you so much for listening.